All right, we're excited.
Oh, yes.
Tonight we're talking about Master Your Voice, and really excited. I mean, I'm doing some things in my life that I never thought I would do, and that I never thought I would like to do. So
I think what
excited.
happens, I think, as you grow and you mature, even, as a person,
Yeah,
then you realize that really all those years of training
yeah,
leads up to being able to deposit into somebody else's life.
yeah,
And to
yeah.
give them what
Yeah.
we have, to avoid all the pitfalls, all the trauma that you can go through
Yes.
if you're,
It can be, yeah, exactly. That's a good word. It can be traumatic, yes.
Sure it can, because
Yeah.
if you're being taught the wrong thing or the wrong technique or the wrong style, as a singer,
Yeah.
then you have a lot of problems, and then you're having to fix what is broken over
Right.
and over and over.
Which is exactly my experience, and I want to share with you guys my testimony, so to speak, about my singing. It was about almost 15 years ago that I felt like I was losing my voice, like my instrument wasn't the same, and I was really struggling,
Sure.
in a certain register, actually in the middle of my voice, not with the low part or the high part, but just in the middle of my voice. I mean, and I think that if I would have kept on going the way that I would have eventually lost my high notes and would have affected all of my register. But I think it just starts in the middle of your voice. And, I began having less endurance. I was getting tired after I sang. I was getting hoarse after I sang. So that is a sign.
Well, it's a sign that
that
you're doing something incorrectly.
That you're doing something
That
incorrectly.
you're affecting your vocal cords in the wrong way.
Yeah, yeah. And then I would even crack on certain notes. So that was like, that's death to a singer. It's devastating when you feel like you are losing control of your instrument.
Yeah, or it's frustrating, because I remember as a young singer, it frustrated me when I couldn't hit the notes I wanted to hit.
Yeah.
The way I wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
Not just hitting the note, but being able to hit it the way I wanted to hit it, with brilliance and effortless. Something that that brought some expression.
That's what you strive for as a singer.
Right. It's called excellence. It's being skilled at what you do.
Yeah.
And you've had multiple teachers.
I have. Yeah.
I've only had probably Eddie Watson was my main teacher, and he taught like Jay Giles and Donna Summer, and
right. A lot of people in Boston.
Yeah. Steven Tyler. Eddie Watson was an amazing man.
Yeah.
As well as a teacher. And I think, when you're looking for a teacher, it's important to find out that this person has character, as well as
right. Wow.
Is the ability.
That's very few and far between.
The ability to help you sing.
Yeah.
Because
it's one thing to just find a good teacher.
Yeah, but see, singing is a part of your life.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an expression of your emotions.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, if you're around people who are stressing you out or causing you to go down a wrong path that will impact you emotionally, it's going to cause your instrument, your voice, your vocal folds to wear down, get tired, and you're going to get frustrated. So we're here to help. We want to help you.
Yeah, I just want to finish sharing my story. I had already been singing for over 10 years and professionally and making a living as singing. So that was a really, really, really difficult time for me. And you remember.
Sure.
You remember what I went through.
Well, I was 13 when I started singing professionally. It's true. Not a lie.
Yeah, no. Yeah, let me finish my story, then you can tell your vocal training story.
Sure.
So retraining my voice was like the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life, and thankfully I found a teacher who was willing to work with me.
Right.
I worked twice a week for, I think it was like 2 to 3 years.
Well,
at least like 2.5 years.
Well, I can give the testimony
Twice a week.
a little bit better, because I was involved with that process.
Okay.
What happened was
Please don't embarrass me.
Well, she was with a great teacher, and
All right,
I
so
guess
this is your version.
he had just been explaining that he'd been teaching Veronica the wrong process for her instrument.
What?
Yeah, he told me that, and he said we've been doing this for quite a while. He says now I want to switch gears, and I go, really? After all these years, we're going to switch gears now? Okay. I said, I'll tell you. He goes, he says, well, what? So being who he was, he said, can you please tell her for me? I go, no, you're the teacher. You tell her. You know. I said, I'll be on the phone with you. I said, but I'm not going to hold your hand. You know, you have to tell her and be straight with her. And I remember walking in the bedroom, and we're sharing that we have to change the technique that you've been taught all these years. Now we're going to switch gears and go in this other direction. Which all you said is, when do we start? When do we start? When do we start doing this?
Yeah, because I don't even remember that conversation at all.
Well, I remember like it was yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and the thing is that it was.
I just remember I was having problems, and I wanted to do something about it. You know, it was just
well,
me.
Veronica, what I'm saying to you is that this
for myself. You
know?
But
what I'm saying is you could have said, commit a big scene, been an emotional scene.
Yeah, it's very.
But being who you are, you're very structured. You're very precise, and you realized what you had to do in order to fix the problem. Yeah. So you have to know people.
You have to
singers,
humble yourself.
You know what, singers? You need to know that you need help. You know, it's like somebody who's struggling in different areas of their life. Hold on. It's like if you're struggling with weight, then you have to say, you know what? I have to fix this. Okay, so whatever it is in your life, and if you want to be a serious singer in the music industry and make records and sell records and tour night after night or sing on the weekends or whatever it may be. You may be in church. You may sing on Wednesday. You got a rehearsal on Thursday. You may sing in the choir. And you know what? You're going to get worn out. And this technique will allow you to sing with ease and get the sound that you need to get and have it placed where it's supposed to be.
Right. But learning the right technique. I mean, this time, because again, I was just remembering tonight how many vocal teachers I've had since I was 13 years old, you know, and then through college, and then after college. I mean, I had a lot of teachers, but this time, and this was, again, 15 years ago, I learned the right technique. And that's what made all the difference, because you really can't just go to any voice teacher.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I was watching this gospel television shows,
and I'm proof of that.
I was watching this television show it's like a talent show. Yeah. And they have a vocal coach who can't even speak, yet she's a vocal coach. I'm like, no people. Right. No.
Yes. So don't go to a vocal teacher who can't speak.
Right. Or who has a very limited range.
Wow.
In other words, and you know.
Well, and not all teachers can demonstrate.
That's true. Because most vocal teachers can't sing.
Some can't even demonstrate the
technique.
The warm-ups, the technique. I mean, but they could actually be a good teacher, be teaching the right technique.
Absolutely.
So you can't really go by that.
But one of the greatest teachers in the world, Seth Riggs, he sings horribly. But he's the most brilliant. Well, you know what? But I'll tell you what, there's nobody better than Seth Riggs.
Yeah.
He's the best there is. Period.
Yeah.
And the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. In fact, I want to read some quotes to you guys because I really want to help you all understand the importance of it. And a lot of singers that you might not even know have trained, have studied. So this is like just some quotes that I found online. And so one of them is from the late Natalie Cole. Bless her soul and pray for her family.
Absolutely.
You know, our condolences go out to her family. And
Anne
she
Marie's
said, I want to
was
thank
a great
you. You
loss.
mentioned, I know that was so
And
sad.
Nicholas from The
I
Whispers.
don't have a quote from
great
him.
loss.
I don't have
Yeah.
a quote from him. But this is from Natalie Cole, and she's actually talking about Seth Riggs. Seth Riggs is a teacher out in Los Angeles, and he is the one who made this technique famous, so to speak. So you guys can look that up if you'd like. His name is Seth Riggs.
And he's the one that called it speech level singing.
Right.
In other words, singing as your singing should be no different than your speech. Like a lot of people speak and you go, they sound nothing like they do when they sing. You know, because you're well, because you're really not. Then you're singing incorrectly because you're trying to imitate somebody.
Oh, okay, right.
But I'll get into what I try to do.
I mean, and yes, this technique will help you get into your true voice. Will help you find your true voice and your true sound. You know, and that's something that you need to embrace, singers. And I mean, I know that's hard because sometimes you get a singer in your head that you want to sound like.
Sure.
You know, please don't do that. You have to be you.
Yeah, I mean, you can be inspired
and who God created you to be.
You can be inspired.
Yeah, absolutely,
but,
absolutely.
But you do not imitate.
Right. I know it's really hard.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
It's really hard. So anyway, this is a quote from Natalie Cole, and she said, "I want to thank." And she's talking about the teacher that she worked with that we mentioned, and she's talking about. She says, "For helping me build a strong connection into the gospel sound and ranges." So obviously she was a real fan of gospel music and of gospel singers. She says, "No strain and no pain, honey." She says, "We're moving with a new vocal, mental, and physical health," which is really interesting.
Right.
Because you don't think that singing or voice technique would be mental and physical.
Exactly.
But singing is a very physical sport.
Of course it is.
Physical activity.
Well, because it's a muscle. It's your muscles. This is your your larynx, which is your Adam's apple, and your vocal folds are around the size of it.
Yeah. Okay, this is a quote from now that quote was from Natalie Cole. This quote is from Stevie Wonder. If you guys did not know,
I thought it was Stevie when I was 13.
Oh. I mean, some of you might not know that these singers have trained, and some of them continue to.
Absolutely.
So this was his quote. He
they have coaches.
He also worked with Seth Riggs. He said, "I first met Seth," listen to this, "after corrective surgery."
Wow.
Guys, Stevie Wonder had corrective surgery for his voice. Okay? I mean, that blows me away. He says, "My bad vocal habits had caught up with me." I mean, can you believe that? This is Stevie Wonder.
That's pretty humbling.
He said, I was forced to find a more correct way to sing.
Sure.
He said that was 23 years ago. Today, I still experiment with many different vocal styles and qualities, and the muscular freedom to do that is the result of my work.
Wow.
That is Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, that blows me
awesome.
away. That blows me away. Anyway, then so that is why he's one of the best in the world.
Well, he's 64 or something, 65 years old.
And will always,
and
because of his...
Well, first of all, he doesn't push a lot of air out of his voice. And he's got a very brilliant sound. And he knows how to connect his registers. If you're wondering, what's a register? Register is your range. You know, you may be a
Low,
baritone
middle,
or a tenor,
high,
right?
Registers.
And everybody has a break in their voice. And if you can work the break... That's what Stevie's done. He's mastered it. Daryl Coley, greatest gospel singer on the planet.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him.
He knows how to connect his lower register and break through the bridge right up to the notes that most people can't even hit anymore.
Right.
Some of the greatest gospel singers that I know,
and it's seamless,
they can't hit the notes
and it's
anymore.
effortless, and there's no break. You know what I'm saying? He's not switching into another voice to try and hit higher notes.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
He's staying within that same tone and oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Anyway, yeah. So that's incredible. Okay, this quote is by Quincy Jones. He said, "It has been my experience that myriad problems such as vocal fatigue, lack of control, and diminishing vocal quality can be overcome or eliminated by a solid, knowing, practical vocal technique." This is Quincy Jones talking about the importance of vocal technique singers, okay? Now this is Michael Jackson.
Wow.
He was another student
Who's he?
Oh, you don't know?
No, I'm not sure.
He is another student of Seth Riggs, and he says this about a great teacher. He says, "A great teacher is able to direct a singer toward a healthier, more extensive use of his voice without losing that special quality that sets him apart."
Correct. Yeah.
So you're not going to lose your style.
Right.
That's what he's talking about. He says you're not going to lose your style and who you are as a singer because of vocal technique. It's going to make you more of who you are.
It's going to increase you.
It's going to set you more apart.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. That's what I've experienced with vocal technique. Okay, I mean, singer after great singer. This is a quote by one of our most favorite singers, Luther Vandross. He says, vocal approach makes the high notes solid and easy, with no need to resort to falsetto, unless for some special effect. This approach is a valuable addition to making your styling easy, always available, and extending the life of your voice.
That's powerful stuff.
That's Luther Vandross.
Yeah, but Luther couldn't really sing that well. Wow. Oh, he's only my favorite. He's my favorite singer of all time. Period. And you know, because he encompasses the tone, the feeling, the expression, the range. You know, it's like really, just in the brilliance.
He kind of had it all.
Really.
Amazing. And I love how he says you don't have to resort to a falsetto, and that's the other voice that we're talking about that you have to go into if you don't have that technique.
Right.
And so he mentions that, and he's talking about, you know what, your notes are always going to be there.
Absolutely.
You're going to be a more consistent singer, and you're extending the life of your voice throughout your lifetime.
Yeah, I remember.
That's why he could sing.
Yeah, I remember,
you know, even before he passed.
Well, I remember when I met George Benson, and he told me, he says, "Angelo, everything I hear, because singing is about hearing, you know, and it's about feeling. You should be able to feel the notes you sing. But if you can hear the notes and you can feel the notes, you can sing anything. There's nothing you can't do. You know, don't put limits on your instrument. Yeah. You know, we put limits because we say we can't. Well, you can.
Yeah.
You can.
You can. That's right. That's right. So, anyway, one more quote. This is from Miss Celine Dion. My condolences go out to her and her family.
Renee.
Oh my gosh,
Great loss.
I know she lost her husband and her brother. Mm-hmm. So, oof, God, we gotta pray for Celine. Yeah. She says, "I still have a coach." This is Celine Dion.
That's right.
I still have a coach. She said,
"That's why she still has a voice." Okay.
I still have a coach.
I don't want to. You know, I don't want to use this Periscope to expose people. I don't. They know who they are, and it's very sad to me when my favorite singers can't even hit anywhere near the notes that they used to hit. It just blows my mind, and it's painstaking because you go, I don't want to hear you anymore. I don't, because I hear you struggling, and it's called lack of knowledge because you didn't keep up with the gift. You allowed your gift to wean away.
It's not like they don't have a gift anymore.
No, they got a tremendous gift.
Gifts in calling God are irrevocable.
Right, but they have the musicality and and all that, but But you know what? You will lose your gift
can't
if
execute,
you do not
execute it
use,
the same. Yeah.
He says, study to show yourself approved.
I know.
Yes, you can lose your gift.
Yeah.
If God won't take it. No, God won't take it away.
You can.
But you can take it away.
You can lose your notes.
Yeah.
You can lose your notes. So anyway, Celine Dion says, I still have a coach. She said, it's really boring. She says, it's like a stretch.
Monotony.
She says, if you go and see a dancer stretching on the floor, you might think, wow, she's really flexible. Wow, she can really stretch that leg.
Right.
She says, but it's not choreography. It's not artistically beautiful. She's talking about the warm-ups, the stretching. She says, but then you go on stage and you give it. You know what I'm saying? Then you go. She goes on stage
absolutely.
and she's able to deliver.
And I promise you,
you know,
what I find amazing about these singers, and unfortunately, I don't.
These are great singers.
They're great singers, you know? And the world recognizes them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like unfortunately, the gospel singers that I know were some of the greatest, yet they don't have any voices anymore. That blows my mind. It's like, wait a minute, we should be.
Well.
We should not only have been the best singers in the world, but the forefronters, the ones paving the way for the future young artists that are coming up, so that they can have hope that, hey, my heroes don't lose their voices. But unfortunately, that's not the case, because church doesn't teach the proper process to keeping your instrument, because it's not important.
Right. Or not. It's
not important.
Their singers to study.
In other words, where's the value in it? I'm just singing in church.
Oh.
Well, no, you're singing for
singing
the Lord.
For God, yeah.
Everything you are and everything you do is for Jesus. If you're a Christian, this is an essential element to your development, not only as a singer, but as a minister of the gospel, as you minister. And when you sing on Sunday.
Yeah.
So you know what, honey? I may not have the greatest sound or the style that people like, whatever, but I know that I can give everything I can with the technique that I've been given.
Yeah.
And I can hold my own on any platform, being it secular. We've sang with Michael Bolton, okay? We've sang with different secular people, okay? We've had those opportunities, okay? And I promise you, it blows my mind that these people are more aware of their instruments than we are.
Yeah. Well, I do have one quote from a gospel singer.
Oh, well, he's the greatest gospel singer in the world.
And yes, he's probably
and a good
the
friend.
Best singer, one of the best singers in the world. Not just.
We love him.
Yeah. This is a quote. I found a quote by Daryl Coley.
Check him out.
Okay?
If you don't know Daryl Coley singers. Yeah. Then you need, what, if you're, somebody told me one time, if your depth of knowledge of R&B is Michael Jackson, then you don't know R&B.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, if your depth of gospel music is, I don't know, whatever, and you don't know Daryl Coley, you need to know.
Yeah.
Because it's going to help you.
Yeah, he has one of the best, most amazing voices.
As far as I'm concerned, he's better than all these secular ones.
Yeah, you're right. Well, this is what he says. He said, if the gift is in you, then work on the gift. Hone your talent. Take voice lessons.
Why?
So that you can correctly use the gifting God has given you and be as creative in your delivery of it as you can.
Ooh.
But make sure you deliver the message along with that creativity. I mean, that's one of the best
I'm going to share this. There's a style of gospel singing. It's called static singing. It sounds like screaming, but the only person I've ever heard do it correctly is one of the greatest female vocalists in the world, Vanessa Bell Armstrong. Yeah. She's an amazing singer. And Daryl Coley. All the rest of them have diminished their... I would challenge those guys that I know, these other singers, that there's vocal damage, because I can hear it. As a teacher, my wife and I we're instructors of we're doctors.
And that's funny that you say that, because I was listening to, you can actually go on YouTube and hear Celine Dion do some of her warm-ups.
Incredible.
And then I also found a YouTube video of Michael Jackson in his voice lesson.
That's awesome.
And I got to tell you guys, it's all the same stuff that we do and that we teach.
That's exactly what we teach.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So you guys are going to have the opportunity to learn the same technique that Michael Jackson learned, that Celine Dion has learned. You could hear them on YouTube. I just couldn't believe it.
I was very blessed at a young age to have a teacher like Eddie Watson. Because Boston is really a musical city as far as education.
Yeah.
We both went to Berklee College of Music.
Yeah.
And we both trained vocally.
Yeah.
And when I went to I was studying with a guy named Charlie Banakis, who's a world famous teacher. I mean, this guy was amazing. Jimmy Earl, who plays on the Jimmy Kimmel Show, he studied with Charlie for years on this. I mean, I could go down a list of the greatest musicians on the earth and I was paying at that time back in, oh my goodness, in the 80s, I was paying $150 a half hour.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, Seth Riggs is $500 an hour.
But you know what?
Yes.
I'll tell you this. If I had the money, it'd be worth every penny. Because that guy will teach you how to keep your instrument. He will show you. Well, that's the technique that we teach. And I promise you, it's not $500 an hour.
No, I would go to you and save a lot more money. I would go to you and save a lot more money.
Amen.
That's what I would do.
Same, absolutely.
You know?
Use wisdom.
Well, so I want to just share this some stuff that I found online, and you can say, can tell me if you agree or not with some of these things, but I thought some of these things were good. The right singing technique can give you consistency, so you know how to solve 95% of the problems you get into as a singer.
Wow.
I actually think that that's a higher percentage.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that's even a higher percentage. Because unless you are sick,
sure,
unless you have a cold,
well, this technique will help.
You should always have your voice.
Well, still, and I just want to share this, I don't want to cut you off, but you can break through some illnesses. But I'll tell you who needs vocal technique are the preachers, pastor. You know what? You want to lead by... See, my whole life in our church, High Place Church, I tell people, I said, you know what? I took a job because I want to lead by example. I want to experience what the average person deals with on a day-to-day basis and not be so above everybody else because I'm the man, okay? No, I'm not the man. I'm just a servant just like you and anybody else, okay? So, but when it comes to a pastor... then you need to lead by the example. And this technique will help you speak correctly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it comes with it.
I know preachers that preach on Sunday, they don't talk on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
People even tell me that my speaking voice is different.
Well, if you listen to Stevie Wonder speak, listen to Stevie talk, he's like, here, I'm here. Hi. Like Michael Jackson, hi, I'm here. They're singing above their chords.
Right.
They're not down here. They're not pushing up. And you know what? They don't have to even sing that loud for it to be loud.
Right.
That blows my mind.
Resonance without
power. It says, you get this edge in your voice, like some of these greatest gospel singers used to have it.
Right, and you start working less.
Because, they used to have it because...
becomes more powerful.
Well, to me, a lot of the gospel singers that I grew up with had natural technique that they didn't even understand what they were doing. It was just natural. They heard it. They heard somebody sing that way, and they grabbed it. But what happened was because of their lack of knowledge, because they didn't want to train, they didn't want to study, they didn't need a coach because they were successful. Then what happened is after they get into the late 40s and 50s, you have no more range. You're down to 2 range.
Yeah, you have no more range, and you lose your voice.
And and I know that they know. In their head, that they can't hit those notes anymore. That would bother me.
Yeah, exactly.
Tremendously.
Even the best singers have problems. Even the best singers, we've heard some of the best singers lose their instruments just off of, just not having the right technique, and can easily slip off the mark and develop bad habits. Anybody can develop bad habits. Any singer. This can happen to any singer.
That's why you need a coach every week. Right. You need to be diligent.
Often we see hugely successful stars that cannot sing their own hits with the same melodies or in the same keys as they recorded, cannot finish the tour, or even need vocal surgery to repair a damaged voice. Wow. How many times have we heard that?
Well, we've heard it, unfortunately. No.
Often these stars, which have so much raw talent, have gone most of their lives without taking regular voice lessons and have never, just what you were talking about, and have never learned proper vocal technique. And that's all it is. Without the right maintenance, anyone can slip into bad habits.
That's good.
Yeah, as singers, we need to become aware of what our issues and our problem spots are, as well as our strengths. So we have to get to know our instruments. You have to get to know your own voice.
Yeah, because once you get to know that, and you start,
and a teacher can help you do that.
Yeah, and you start connecting with this technique. It, like the students that you have, your new students.
Yeah.
This is the truth, folks.
Yeah.
My wife started teaching these 3 young children.
But they're not.
They're young.
Yeah. One's 11.
I'm old. They're young.
16 and 17 or something like that. Teenagers.
And we first, Veronica, she had their first lesson, and we could hear all of the issues. Because again, it's their first lesson. And cut some slack. Okay?
Yeah.
When I heard them the second time, I'm like, who are those people? They worked so hard. And you know what? I am so grateful for that work ethic from their father and mother. And their children that put in the work.
Record the lesson. Do this during the week when you're in the bathtub or in the shower.
I'm going to tell you something, Veronica. They're on their way.
And practice, and they did.
And you know what? A lot of people are going to go, whoa, who are you? Wow. It's going to take you to that place. But you have to come to that understanding in your life that, you know what, I need help.
Yeah.
We want to help you. This is about helping people. That's what ministry is, people, is helping people. You know what? And trust me, we're excited about the opportunity to do that for you.
Yeah.
You know what? And there's no excuse in this day and age. See, when Veronica did it, she did they didn't have FaceTime, they didn't have Skype, so you couldn't do a visual.
Yeah, I did it over the phone.
On the phone.
Yeah, that's right.
We could do it over the phone as well. Because I can tell when you're damaged.
Do via Skype, FaceTime, over the phone.
You can hear the damage when you're speaking to somebody.
Yeah.
I know when you're speaking incorrectly. I know when you're in a register, in a place in your life where you're being hurt. And and you know what? Get help.
Yeah.
You know what? Get help. And you know what? I just believe that,
So singers just have to become more aware of their instruments.
Absolutely.
So they they need to learn what they need to watch out for.
Sure.
That way we will know when we are on. That way you'll know when you're on the brink of doing something damaging to your voice. See, that's why you want to get to know your voice, because so you don't hurt your voice. A lot of singers push. They strain,
right?
I've heard out of their throats.
Well, I heard this one couple
really
which they came to the little kids came to study, and what they told us my vocal teacher told me to shout. I'm like, shout? You should never shout. You should never push your instrument beyond. It's muscle. It's a tissue. Right. It's like your vocal folds, what they're called, should look like this. Okay? Mariah Carey, when she was young, she was amazing. I mean, that girl could flat out sing. She was brilliant. Listen to Vision of Love. All those songs.
Yeah.
There's a hero. But But as she got,
Yeah.
what happened was because of lack of technique,
Yeah.
people, listen to her voice. What happened was she pushed all this air past her voice to get a sound. She was going for a sound. She was going like, it's like B.B. Winans has this most amazing tone. You know, like Luther has this tone. And as a young singer, you go, I want to have that tone. And you go, and you're pushing air that'll kill your instrument. You can throw it in the bucket after 10 years.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Mariah. And now her vocal cords, I swear, they probably look just like this rather than this.
Wow.
And that's what causes them to not be brilliant
Air
anymore.
is, yeah.
Like, listen to Andre Pacelli.
You really have to know how to do it correctly.
Pacelli's the same thing. His vocal cords look like this. I promise you. And that's what you want out of your life. You know, out of your vocal health.
I did that early on. I did some air, and then I stopped. You know, and I still do it sometimes, but I'm very, very particular when I do it.
When to use it.
Yes, exactly, and,
Yeah, but
and really mostly in the studio. You wouldn't find a professional athlete who didn't work regularly with a coach of some kind.
My goodness.
Why would you treat your voice any differently?
Well, I have a friend in Phoenix. He has a whole health wellness facility for pro athletes.
Yeah,
And these guys go in and they work out on their body. They eat right. They do this. They're working on the bike. They're working on their weights. And just because you don't see them playing like baseball players, you know, during the winter, they're working out. They may take a month off, but after that, bam, they're in that gym and they're paying this guy for him to train them because they know that Brett Fisher is one of the greatest trainers in the world. So when they go to Brett, they're gonna get the healing of the body they need.
Right.
Their mind is going to be trained to be equipped.
Yeah.
See, this whole thing, Veronica.
That's why people pay voice teachers $500 an hour. You know,
right? And and I'm going to tell you something. Just because somebody's on American Idol or they're on, you know, Sunday's Best, doesn't mean that these people are trained. Because I'm listening to them and I'm like, really,
the test is. Here, you know, you hear them when they first, you know, come on, and when they first come on the show, and I don't really watch any of those contests, but if you hear them when they first come on the show, and then towards the end,
oh my goodness,
of the show, and then you can really see what's going on. You can really see, okay, do they have technique, or don't they?
Yeah.
You know, because you can really hear week after week.
And I don't mean to put these people down.
No.
But you know what? If you're not qualified,
I'll give you an example. The person that does what we're talking about.
The person that does I'll just tell you, the Kim Burrell, she's the vocal teacher for that show. She's not a teacher. People admire her because she's a great singer.
She's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But being a great singer,
it's another thing. To be able to teach the technique.
And you know what? What are you teaching them? You know, for a couple of weeks to do what? You need to teach them the correct information.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't know.
You know, and this is not, again. But of course, she's called the voice. I mean, because she's a great singer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Good singing technique also offers you many more options as a singer. Technique can ultimately give us more freedom, not less.
Right.
And can be the means to be free to express ourselves as artists.
Yeah.
Assisting style and expression. How? The voice has to be working well to have the freedom and flexibility to express and hit any note you feel. That is the best feeling as a singer, to be able to hit any note you feel.
Let's go back to Luther Vandross.
Wow.
And people say, he didn't have the range. No, Luther Vandross could hit the notes that he needed to hit. And believe me, he had an incredible range.
He was able to hit the notes he wanted to hit,
Absolutely, because...
There's certain notes that it really, I mean, just with worshiping God, I mean... there's just certain notes in my register that I feel like I need to hit to worship God. I know that sounds really strange.
That's pretty shallow.
But anyway, that's just, I don't know. That's just me. It's like, oh my gosh, I really want to worship the Lord, and I don't know. Even though worship goes way beyond
my friend
singing
Bishop
and
Bob
music.
is out there, and he's hoping that Bishop Glow will take lessons because it's going to be A, V, and B.
Oh, okay.
And,
Okay.
But we love you.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna just want to give a quick summary of just everything that we discussed and let you guys go. Okay, the right vocal technique. You agree or disagree or elaborate? Right vocal technique will, number one, you will be able to sing with more ease and with less effort.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, you see people in there, they're bending their neck way over here, they're convulsing to get notes out. I did it. I know. I was one of those people. Real quickly.
I'm sure we've all done it.
No, I'll tell you how arrogant I was, okay? Here I am, I'm studying jazz, piano, and guitar with Charlie Benakis. And Charlie says, he asked me what I want to do. I said, I want to be a singer. He goes, well, then, are you studying? I went, no. In other words, in my mind, what do I need to study for? I'm great, right? Well, he makes a phone call because Eddie Watson had a waiting list. You couldn't get.
I think that's most people.
Yeah, nobody. Nobody could get with Eddie. But except Charlie, who's a master teacher, called another master teacher, said, "Would you please take Angelo?" Next week I went in. The elderly. He was like remember Nat King Cole. And same school.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a beautiful human being. And so I walk in, and he goes, he wanted to hear me sing. And so he says, what would you like to sing, young man? I says, well, and of course I'm here now, not to take a lesson from a master teacher. I'm there to show him that, hey, dude, when you hear me sing, he's going to say, I can't teach you nothing. There's a door, you know? And I said, let me sing All's Fair in Love by Stevie Wonder. And then Eddie looks at me and he goes, what key? I go, what key? The original. Because I was Stevie Wonder. I was the white Stevie Wonder, in my mind, right?
Wow.
So he starts and I sing the song and we get done. He goes, boom, hits the last chord, boom. And then he goes, and I'm standing there waiting for a response, like a standing ovation, and it's the truth. I'm not lying, right? And so I'm going, this guy, he better be, when he opens his mouth, they better be good, because now I'm Italian too, right? So that kicked in. So. And I wasn't a Christian, so that didn't help, okay? He looks straight back at me and goes, you need an awful lot of work, young man. And when he looked in my face and told me that I needed to work and I needed to...
Yeah, I need to work at it, yeah.
I didn't cry. I wasn't offended. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't mad.
I'm sure you wasn't offended.
No, I wasn't.
Sure you weren't.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I realized that here is the master vocal teacher. I'm just a singer. Okay? So I know so I have a gift. And he said that. He says, you have a tremendous gift. He says, but you need a lot of work. He was absolutely right.
Wow. And you were like, okay.
I'm like, so I'm not Stevie Wonder? And he goes, and the second thing out of his mouth, I love what he said to me. He looked at me, he goes, Angelo, you may not like Angelo. He says, and I can tell by that last song you sang that you really don't like Angelo. He says, you love Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
He says, you will never be Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
He says, start liking Angelo and be the best Angelo you can be.
Exactly.
That'll make you the singer that God created you to be. Not trying to sound like Fred Hammond.
And then you won't sound like everybody else.
Fred Hammond
as
was
well. You sound like you.
You talk about great gospel singer. My God, Eric Dawkins. I mean, we go down the list of some of the greatest singers. Kim Burrell. I mean, monsters. These people are amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing talent.
Yeah.
Ahead,
Number
Dave.
2, be more confident. Now, that was my issue. That was the opposite of you going into a voice lesson. Because I was a nervous wreck. I used to take
you were easily intimidated.
I used to take aspirin before I went to my voice lesson. I was so petrified.
That's funny.
Angelo.
You're scared. That's why you wrote No Fear.
Yeah. Yes. Amen.
2 Timothy
that's
1:7.
that's my testimony. That is my testimony.
Amen.
And but technique, vocal technique, is what helped me to be more confident as a singer, because I struggled with fear, because I struggled with so much stage fright, because I struggled with singing in public.
Wow.
I mean, I can't even believe that I was even able to become a singer, because that's how afraid I was. But vocal technique will give you confidence. That is what's so awesome.
Well, here it is, honey.
Yeah.
Confidence is good. Arrogance is not.
Right.
You know, because we haven't arrived.
Exactly.
None of us have arrived.
Yeah.
You know, I love what my father taught me. He said, son, whenever you stop learning, throw dirt over your head and call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
People,
Absolutely.
you know what? Don't let the world outschool you. Get with somebody who's going to train you, teach you, equip you to be the best you can be. If you do that, you're going to see results.
Because
I promise you.
I still believe, even with a lack of, maybe a lack of knowledge, I still think gospel singers are the best in the world. I really do.
Well, here's the difference. It's like I love what this teacher said. He says
even though a lot of them lack
they sing from their heart,
the knowledge, you know.
Well, they sing from their heart.
Yeah, they sing from their soul.
The soul,
you know?
right? That's what soul music is.
That's right, exactly.
But you can't. Yeah, but you can't say that Luther Vandross didn't sing from his soul.
Yeah, of course. Number 3.
Peebo Bryson.
Number 3, feel yourself sing when you cannot hear yourself sing. How many times do you go to a venue, go to sing in church or wherever, and you cannot hear yourself?
Right.
The right vocal technique will help you to feel, because that's something that I heard from, I don't know, I guess a teacher a really long time ago, that you have to feel yourself sing instead of hear yourself sing.
That was me. I taught you that.
Oh, really?
It was.
No. Really?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
You went to the wrong teacher. You should have been coming with me.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, so I've learned to do that. And it took many years to learn how to feel, know what it feels like to sing.
Well, to me, it's like
correctly.
Yeah, but you know what it's like? I was telling those young kids.
So
I said, when you're going for certain notes, it's almost like the sound is coming out of your eye sockets, out of your head, rather than in your chest.
Right, like in classical singing, your head voice, they call it a head voice because it's coming over your head.
Over your head, correct.
You know?
Correct.
The sound is going over your head, so that's why they call it a head voice. Right, so
exactly.
you're going to learn how to feel yourself sing, and which is especially helpful when you cannot hear yourself sing.
And I promise you, 99% of the time,
a lot of the time,
99% of the time, you're going to be in church choir. Yep. You're going to be in the choir. And I'm going to tell you what happens.
You're not going to be able to hear yourself.
I'm going to tell you what happens. When you can't hear yourself, not only are you going to hurt your instrument, but your pitch is going to be really bad. Even if you have good pitch. You know?
Because you're going to overcompensate.
Because you're going to overcompensate. And I heard Eric Dawkins talking about that. He says he would go out, and this is one of the greatest singers in the world. And he goes out, and he's got a bad sound man. And what happens is he's screaming and he's pushing and he's trying to get the notes that he knows he can hit.
Right.
But
I just sang it a minute ago.
Yeah, right. I was in my dressing room and I had no problem warming up to that.
Yeah.
But the minute I hit the platform, and this has happened to me, I hit the platform and I'm looking at the sound man. He's compressing the daylights out of you. If you learn this technique,
Yeah.
all that will go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that will
because
go
you are
away.
at the mercy of the sound person.
Correct.
You're at the
And if the
mercy of
sound person doesn't like you, which 99% of the time he didn't like me.
We still have voices through all of that because of this technique. You know.
Well, let's go. It's like Daryl Coley.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost one note off his range. Not one note.
Yeah.
If in fact,
I mean,
like
last
Stevie,
time we've heard of
like
yeah.
Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder hits notes.
Yeah. I think he might sing higher than he
because
used
you
to.
know why? He can whatever he hears in his head, he can hit. And that's how we should be.
Yeah.
We should not be limited.
He keeps up his technique.
We should not be limited in our vocal ability. But what happens is, and here's the big kicker, Veronica, I'm gifted. I don't need teaching.
I know. We've
That's
heard
called,
it before.
it says, God opposes the proud.
Anointed of
and
God.
gives, you've heard that?
Absolutely.
No, you're annoying. Because as a teacher of voice, I can hear you sing, and boy, oh boy, you need help. It's like Eddie. I learned what Eddie gave me. I trained with Eddie, and I began to hear what Eddie heard and other things, not to beat them up, but not to put them down, but to help them.
Yeah,
and that's
we all can be better.
I love what Eddie his life stood for. He wasn't a millionaire, but you know what he was?
Yeah.
He helped people
Yeah.
develop into what they were supposed to be.
Right.
And that's what you study with Veronica, or you study with me, or you study with the both of us. If you're a choir, if you're a group, if you're an individual, if you're a pastor, and you want to train with us, we'll help you. We'll walk with you. If you need us to come to your church, do some seminars,
workshop,
workshop where we can help individually people and give you some material that will last your lifetime. And it's not a hype about Angelo Veronica.
Mostly we can do it FaceTime, we could do it Skype, we could do it over the phone.
Whatever.
There's so many different ways of doing it.
So there's no excuses today. See, back when I was young, I had to get in the snowstorm and go to Eddie's.
Right.
And you know what? I did it because I got excited about what I was learning.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this guy really cares about me.
Right. Wow.
You know, because you know what? And we do.
Wow. He was not just a great teacher, he was a great person.
I just want to say this with Rachel, with one of your students. You know, she's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the fact that she wants, and she's not going to be making records next week. Or maybe she will.
Who knows? Yeah.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
She's gonna. I'll tell you this. She'll have the ability to do it if she keeps at it and she stays focused. But I'm going to tell you something. I just love the fact that you're giving not only the vocal lesson, but there's a life lesson involved.
Right.
With it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because you know what? Yeah. We have sung with Michael Bolton. Yeah. We have done. You've sung with some of the greatest singers, Harry Connick Jr.
Some of you might not know that we're also pastors of Higher Place Church in Franklin, Tennessee. So I think that's what he's referring to.
Correct.
Because it's and it depends how long the lesson is.
Right.
If you do half an hour lesson, it's going to be warm ups and scales. If we do an hour,
but I just want to say this. Eddie. You know what?
Talk more.
No,
pray
but what I'm saying.
but
what I'm saying, honey, is that with Eddie, for example, he gave me words of wisdom.
Right.
That helped me develop into what I have today. I wouldn't have known half the stuff I knew.
And not everybody's able to do that.
No. Yeah. And what happens is you again, people, we want to help you develop into what God has created you to be. And if you know what, it starts with you. And you say, I want to make this commitment. It may be a season of your life. Say, I want to take 6 months. I want to do a year. And you know what? And I promise you do it consistently.
Yeah. And
it's boring.
Yeah. That's my number 4.
Okay, baby doll.
Be consistent. This right vocal technique will help you to be consistent. And that is absolutely true.
Yeah, but you know what, honey?
Absolutely
I believe
true.
this.
You will be able to be more consistent and have your notes
readily available
consistently every time you sing.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, being consistent is so important. You know what? Even though I went through a lot of repetition with Eddie, I realized, see, it's come to a point, people, when you start to realize, when you start to grow in your vocal technique and your abilities, all of a sudden you're increasing, you're singing with ease, and other people are starting to recognize, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We had that experience ourselves.
Yeah.
You guys study, don't you? I said,
that's the greatest compliment. That's the greatest compliment. Is not, oh wow, you guys are great. You guys are great singers. I mean, that's wonderful too. But when people say, wow, how did you get better? That is like,
because
wow,
we haven't arrived, people.
That's what life is all about.
Angelo and Veronica,
is getting better.
Honey,
that's what life is all about.
Like the new music we're coming out with next year. I want our songs and our music.
Next year.
This year.
I'm supposed to be this year. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
What we're saying is, I want people to say, wow, they haven't lost a step.
Yeah. Amen.
And that's the key.
A lot of people,
because it's like, there's a lot of people that can hear the difference.
Sure.
And you have to train yourself. Listen to great singers.
Yeah.
Glenn Jones is another great singer.
So be consistent. Right vocal technique will help you to be consistent. Number 5, and this is the last point. It will. And now this is a bunch of stuff. Right vocal technique will increase your range, improve your pitch, give you more endurance, give you more control of your vibrato,
which can be taught.
Will eliminate your vocal break.
Yep.
And will give you longevity.
That's right.
All of those things.
That's right.
I have noticed with right vocal technique.
Absolutely.
You agree?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
And what I love about it is to me it's the ease of it, honey. Because because again, because I express myself differently as a human than you express yourself.
Yeah.
So what happens is I may be like this, but I ain't putting out.
Yeah.
Because I have the technique right there. It's right there in my mouth. I know where it's coming from. I know when I'm hurting myself, if I'm hurting myself, it's that feeling thing again.
Yeah. Right. Like, oh, I've done something wrong, or I'm doing something wrong, or
whatever.
Yeah.
And then you correct it.
Yeah.
Because you know how to correct it.
That's right.
But a lot of people...
That takes time. That
absolutely.
Takes time.
It takes, years. Yeah. In some cases.
Yeah. Some people learn faster.
Yeah.
Some people it takes a little longer. But you know what? Whatever level you are at, and this is what I shared as a part of my testimony. Can you do that? Oh my gosh.
One finger.
And this is what I said. If you've lost your voice, we can help you get it back. Because literally, some singers have lost their voices. I mean, it's just a reality. I mean, it happened to Stevie Wonder. It happened to Celine Dion. It's happened to a lot of great singers.
Hold on, but listen to some of the gospel singers that were mentioned.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of cigarette.
Guys, if you
stop the drugs,
stop
the
drugs,
smoking, stop the
smoking,
drinking, stop the partying,
right. Live a clean lifestyle. Yeah. If you lost control of your instrument, and I think this is where most people are at. If you lost control of your instrument, we can help you gain that
That's
back.
Exactly
we can
right.
show you how to gain back control of your instrument, of your voice.
And everybody's different. Every person is different. Each one of you are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. So, there's going to be, everybody has a different makeup.
Everybody,
But think about this. Everybody's head and facial structure is different. So our tone and our sound is all going to be different. It's going to vary. Like, you have a very thin, and I have a big, very fat. But
anyway.
But it does. But structurally, how your mouth is. It all develop. That's all the development
and
of your
technique
sound.
is going to improve. It's just going to improve your overall sound. It's
Correct.
going to improve.
Anyway. And I promise you, there's so much emphasis on breath. Breathing.
See, I did breathing. I started out doing. I've done all types of technique. I've done classical technique, the bel canto technique, and I did all that breathing exercises, and that. Let me tell you, it really didn't help me very much.
If you're breathing correctly, your diaphragm should expand. Okay. Most singers go. like
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
and
you
all
cannot-
this chest cavity.
Yeah, you
All
should be
this-
lifting your shoulders.
You should be
when
lifting
you
shoulders.
breathe.
You should
Yeah.
be lifting your chest.
But when
and it shouldn't be even a thought.
there was so much focus on breathing when I was doing classical voice, and it messed me up so bad.
Yeah.
And when I got into speech level, it just kind of fell into place.
Well, you know why?
It was
Because
so
speech level
crazy.
singing makes it easy for you to get the sound out of your mouth that you're wanting to hear.
And now I never, ever, ever, ever have to think about my breathing,
Exactly.
which is really crazy because I used to think about it all the time when I was doing
classical.
But this is not this
not to be an opera
technique
singer.
is not going to make you a classical singer. In fact, that's what I said here. If you've never studied at all, you'll be learning the best vocal technique available for the non-classical singer. Okay, and this technique is going to last you your whole life.
Absolutely.
So that's master your voice.
You know what? It really, it's in the ball's in your court. Are you ready for a new season of your life? Are you ready for a change? And you know what? I love again what my father said, because you are never too old to start.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's never right. It's never too late.
Right.
Never too
You know
late.
what? It's like what I love about the
right.
Word of God. It's never too late to open up the Word of God and read it for yourself and have a relationship with God for yourself, with Jesus.
Amen.
Now,
Amen.
and so the thing about the vocal technique, it's the same thing. Once you get the principles down, and and unfortunately, honey, most people want the results without the process. It doesn't work that way.
No.
And you know what? If you go with Seth Riggs,
you're going to have to invest.
I'm going to tell you, Seth will tell you right up
a
front.
little bit of time, and you're going to have to invest. It's just the way it is with anything.
And unfortunately, I wish we could do all this for free. But I promise you, some of the stuff we're
doing this because
this is free, what they've gotten right now,
Yeah,
and this information is very powerful.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
awesome.
I'm not, not to be arrogant or proud.
And we're doing
haughty.
this because we come off the road. We're doing Higher Place Church. We want to be at home and focus on the ministry and focus on Higher Place Church. And so this gives us an opportunity to be off of the road and not be going
focused.
on tour, not be singing in churches, but concentrate on this ministry that the Lord has given us, and given us an opportunity to stay home right where we are, sit in front of our computers or our phones
iPads,
and help you all, and also it helps us as well as we're growing this church. So if you all are interested, you can reach us at angeloandveronica.com or veronicap.com. Look for the tab that says lessons, and go right there, and it'll give you all the information about the prices and the rates. And also, you know what, you can reach out to us. There's even a phone number to call that you can get in touch with us. And of course, we're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and of course on Periscope.
Also, you can join us every Wednesday right now at 7:30 p.m. Central Time at Higher Place CH.
Yes,
at 7:30.
Higher Place Church.
Come join us.
Yeah.
We sing, and you can hear the technique right there in the spot.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about
exactly. Go on YouTube, and we're Angelo and Veronica on YouTube, and you can see all of our
stuff we've
songs
done
and stuff.
Absolutely.
But we will hopefully we'll put this on YouTube as well.
Correct.
So thank you for joining us
Yes,
tonight.
thank you
so
so
much for Master Your Voice. We're excited to work with you all, and so excited to hear from you. Okay, God bless you guys.